Bienvenidos a la segunda actividad del día de hoy. Vamos a tener un conversatorio, es una charla de discusión entre nuestras 4 invitadas. Esta actividad va a ser en inglés para que tengamos un idioma común entre ellas y con nosotros. Así que voy a hacer una presentación en español y luego les voy a dar introducción a ellas en inglés. Global Street Boom, auge, tensiones y futuro de la fotografía de calle mundial. En los últimos años, la fotografía de calle ha experimentado un verdadero boom global. Mayor visibilidad en redes sociales, un crecimiento exponencial de comunidades y colectivos y la inclusión de miradas diversas que han transformado el panorama. Esta mesa busca analizar ese auge, los retos que surgen con él y hacia dónde se encamina este género en el futuro. A lo largo de 4 ejes, el auge global, tensiones y debates actuales, el papel de las comunidades y colectivos y el futuro de la fotografía de calle. Nos acompañan en la mesa Coddington, fotógrafa australiana especializada en fotografía callejera y documental, cofundadora de un Expose Collective, administradora de Woman Street y miembro de Little Box Collective. Julia ha sido jurado en numerosos concursos de festivales de fotografía. Sigrid Debusschere, originaria de Bruselas, fotógrafa callejera galardonada con el primer premio en el Maastricht Photo Festival y el segundo premio en el Vivian Mayer Photo Contest. Su trabajo ha sido exhibido en todo el mundo y publicado en diversas revistas y fotolibros. Sigrid es coordinadora y curadora del Brussels Street Photography Festival y curadora de Women Street Photographers. Ximena Echagüe, fotógrafa documental y de calle, belga argentina, actualmente radica en Bruselas, siempre en movimiento, capturando la esencia de la vida a través de su lente. El trabajo de Ximena ha sido exhibido en más de 20 países, en Europa, América y Asia. Fue nominada al Leica Oscar Barnack Award en 2021. Latife Baudet. Desde su inicio en la fotografía con teléfonos móviles en 2012, sus imágenes han sido expuestas en diversas exhibiciones y publicadas en prestigiosas revistas. Ha sido galardonada con el Women Street Photographers y Leica Women Photo Project Grant en Nueva York, obteniendo además el tercer lugar en el Pisa Street Photography Festival y el Livorno Photo Meeting en 2023. Desde 2022, Latife es embajadora del 24 Hour Project en París. Now we are switching to English. I'm going to give a brief outline of the conversation. Global Street Boom. Here it is. Global Street Boom, rise, tensions, and future of global street photography. In recent years, street photography has experienced a true global boom, increased visibility on social media, exponential growth of communities and collectives, and the inclusion of diverse perspectives that have transformed the landscape. This panel discussion seeks to analyze this boom, the challenges that arise with it, and where the genre is headed in the future. This conversation is going to flow through 4 topics: the global boom, current tensions and debates, the role of communities and collectives, and the future of street photography.
Hi. Thank you. Am I starting? Okay. Thanks for having me here. And yes, it's a very delicate subject that we've been all discussing about. Actually, I'm a pure product myself of the street photography boom. I started street photography with the beginning of Instagram, with the first smartphones. And I didn't have any kind of artistic background. I studied business administration and marketing. But somehow I dived into the street photography community thanks to this social media. And I got to know the community very quickly, and I myself created one of the first street photography hubs on Instagram, which is no more active. And I really, I can be the one who can talk from inside this room on this discussion.
Hello. Thank you so much to the whole Mexico Street Photo Fest team for inviting us. It has been a wonderful festival until now. We had a lot of fun yesterday and the day also. I'm very happy to be here. And I have to talk about myself. I don't like that. But very briefly, I came into photography because my father, he had a dark room in the attic. And so I was introduced to photography very early, and but he was very technical, so I was like, oh no, no. And then I did economics, which was very boring, and the only creative thing I could do was marketing with it. So I liked creating events and organizing events. And then 15 years ago, I was a bit fed up with the rat race, and then I started following a lot of courses of photography in academics and whatever I could. And I was in a master class in Paris and from a famous Paris photographer, Sigrid. And I went to the class and I presented my street photography pictures, and he took a big white board and he was like, street photography is that. And that was 2018. And I was like, okay. So we're not at all. I think it has been effectively a boom. And it's very happy to see that it's evolving and still we're organizing these festivals and the collectives are doing amazing works. So it has been a lot of fun.
Hi, hello, I'm Ximena, and thank you for being here. Uh, in my case, I'm still trying to figure out what is street photography, actually. Because when I started taking pictures, we can say, it was at the beginning of the 90s, and the term, as it is now, street photography, at least I didn't know that it existed. So, and also there, when I discovered that, oh, wow, what I'm doing has a name, and it's street photography. And then there were, at that time, people like Nick Tarpin, for example, creating just a kind of a Bible of street photography that was really, really narrow and strict. So at that time, I discovered, oh no, maybe I'm not a street photographer. So what is for us maybe is different from everyone, right? Because we are taking pictures in the street because we like it. Also, we know that it has a meaning anthropologically, also in a way. No, it's a brand of documentary photography. We know that. So I'm still trying to understand what is street photography. In any case, it's photo. This is what I can say. No much more than that. What do you think?
I think. Well, I think that people like Nick Turpin, who you mentioned, um, are they're traditionalists, and traditionalists now are becoming less important because as street photography is evolving, it's becoming more and more interesting. So I'm just kind of imagining how Nick Turpin would think about, the whole movement of flash photography and some of the new kind of memes. I call them memes in street photography evolving. So gatekeepers from the tradition of street photography are rapidly losing relevance, I think, which is a good thing because I think for me, street photography, yes, it's about taking photos of people in public places, basically. But it's kind of more than that because it's a creative pursuit, and we're as street photographers continually trying to create something different. And I think, you know, we can talk a little bit more about that in terms of the future of street photography. What do you think?
To ask you, if possible, do you think if we ask someone in the street if you could take the portrait, is it street? It continues being street?
It's a street portrait for me. Then as soon as you ask, it's normal, candid. But these are the hard lines of street photography. I'd like to break. So yeah, we can still ask, and maybe they are not forced, but they are aware that they are taken, and maybe there's a nuance there. That there's a tiny difference that you can differentiate it from street portrait to street photography. But yes, we are generally not asking people. But
I started street photography with street portraits. I think it's the easiest way if you're beginning street photography to ask people, "Are you beautiful? Oh, I like your tattoos. Oh, I like your piercings." And but I can't ask people to pose. I just can't. I just be yourself. That's what I have to do, and it's like just to be yourself. And but quite quickly, I thought it was a bit the same. And then they're all asking, "Oh, can you send me your picture, my picture?" And then I said, "Yeah, yeah." I'm giving all these papers with their emails. And then I come home and I didn't know who was which email, and I was lost. So I quickly said, and I'm going to take my distance and do something else. And so I think we all evolve in what we're doing. And I think, yes, a portrait, it's not in the studio, it's in the streets. So why not?
I'm still asking myself now if this kind of, if you are asked someone, if it's still a testimony, a candid testimony in a way, no? Because
I have an opinion. I think street portraits are another genre, like another type of street photography. It's still street photography. It's just a different type of street photography. So the street photography that we practice is candid street photography, and that's what we prefer. And probably most of you here prefer that form of street photography, but they're all different versions and approaches to street photography. So we have to be open to those as well. But you can see within the street photography community, which is a huge community, there are these different types of photography. So you'll see the black and white sort of very geometric street photography with one person in it. So that's a form of street photography, but for me, that does nothing for me. I want to create a candid photo with a story in it, and black and white photo with one person in far distance doesn't have a story for me. So we have to be conscious of all these different types of street photography, and be open to those as well, and know that they exist. But that opens the whole question of what street photography is, and what is it to you, to us.
sorry, just one second. My problem, because I think it's a problem, I'm hard with myself. So I started, in a dark room. It was a totally different moment. No, it wasn't that democratic, the photography in general. So I'm really strict with myself, despite I'm trying to be more open, to open up my way of thinking straight. But I'm trying, which is just something. But for me, for example, I can't ask someone. If I need to ask someone, I turn and I continue doing another thing. This is my way of doing photography, because this is what gives me the adrenaline that I need for living, you know. So it's not the same if I ask you. So it's part of my way of acting my photography in life because I'm acting. I'm like an actress when I'm taking pictures in the street, and I do love it. This is like, for example, I'm in general pretty idiot. You know, I'm like, oh, sorry. No, it's like, no, people said, okay, let it be because she's totally crazy or stupid, you know. And these kind of games are super nice for me. I'm trying to be respectful because I'm playing. Yeah, it's like a game.
I just wanted to interrupt you when you were talking, because I have felt like you are limiting yourself under this title of street photography. I don't, I don't like to do that. I don't like to limit myself under this title, so I'm more free of some. If it happens that I need to ask someone their permission to shoot them, then I ask. It doesn't matter if it's no more street photography. It's just for the love of shooting that person at that time. So yeah, I have my own other kind of limitations that stops me shooting sometimes that I'm trying to get over it, but not under this title. And I don't want to name myself as a street photographer. I want to be a photographer, period, you know. I can do, I want to do many things. Yeah.
Yeah, you are then saying that you're a visual storyteller. That's how you. I like to say that we documenting also daily life in a way.
It's the same, right? No, I think it's the same. Yeah.
And,
Yeah, photographers overall. No?
yes.
What do you think?
I like to try and experiment things, and even if I'm working on a project, I did this for a year with little circuses, and when you go backstage, and when you are in a group of people, and in a certain moment they don't know you're there anymore. So your street, once you have the ability and the habit of shooting street as a street photographer, you do the same in a project because you don't ask people to pose and they forget you're there, and then you take pictures of them working or whatever, and they don't even notice you're there anymore.
About your project, your circus project, how did you do that? Because how was your link with the people? Were you asking them, or you were just a witness of what they were doing?
I paid for the entrance like everybody else. Yes, I'm sorry. So I traveled for 1 year in Belgium, and there's these little circuses still existing in little towns, and I went to them, and I paid for the performance because it's very hard how they live and how they survive, especially in the COVID period. And so I asked, can I take pictures? So, and then during the performance, I took pictures, and then I went in the break, I went backstage and I asked permission, can I wander around and can I take pictures? And then you have these people sitting there. Sometimes it's a bit depressing, but I don't like to say this, but you have the animals in very small places, and you see also a lot of happening because there are protests against these animals used in circuses. So it's really hard for them. And so I spent time with them, and then they just were okay with it. They, and I had a little exhibition about it. We came to the exhibition, thank you. And a little design I made. I like making designs. And yeah, it was a nice project to do.
So let's talk a little bit about the ethics of street photography, and because I think that was one of the topics, and about taking photos, candid photos of people in public places and without permission, and what you think about that. Um, I'll just give you my thoughts initially, and so I think it's important to for street photographers to take photos, candid photos of people in public places. As soon as you ask them, they start posing, so you don't get the reality of the situation that you want to capture. So I think it's important for us to be able to take candid photos in public places in terms of history, of capturing the history of those of life in public places. I worry that in the future, the more and more street photographers there are, and we talked about this a little bit before, the more and more street photographers who disrupt people when they're out enjoying their time in public spaces, whether that will cause problems for us eventually. If there are too many of us taking photos of people in public places, whether that will become a problem and whether there will become new laws where it becomes even more restrictive. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Today we have different laws, right? It's not the same if you are taking pictures of people in US, where since you are in the street, you are public, so you can't do that. But there are countries like France, where it's really difficult, and despite already we have, some photographers that won this real war. We can say a war because it's super hard. Um, I think right now I totally agree with you, and the more the worse. Yeah, because the laws will change, and there will be a moment that we are not going to, well, we are not able to, we will not be able to take pictures without asking people. I'm afraid. So yeah, it's pretty difficult. This is what I think, and I hope it's not like that. But
I think, yes, it's difficult. And I was recently in Germany and I was saying, oh, Germany, I'm not going to be able to take any pictures. And it was okay. And people were friendly. And I did, I think when you're going to events, it's really easy. If you go to public spaces, everybody's taking pictures. So why not? It depends. It really depends where you are. And if I've been experimenting with Flash lately, and that's another challenge to be in the streets because you're invisible. We saw your movie yesterday, and that's what I did in the beginning, trying to be invisible to Flash. It's finished, and so you have to be really quick, have good running shoes, or just delete the pictures if they don't like it.
So when I started street photography with the mobile phone, I was shooting everything that moves without, I wasn't really thinking about ethics. Then slowly I developed my own ethic. I said, okay, no homeless, no children, no, I don't know, no one that cannot defend themselves, or no one, you should never show someone in a humiliating situation or things like this. So this is my own ethic that I created over the years. Yes, I believe in candid stick photography, and I don't think it's bad. I think we are documenting history, and if we are going to ask permission each time, it's not going to happen. So, but if we just stick on this some ethic rules, then I think we are okay. And yes, I live in France, and usually we don't have the right to shoot people, but there are some holes in the system. So if this photo is not gonna be used for commercials and stuff, we can do it. We can expose these photos. I'm organizing exhibitions in Paris, so I never had this problem really. Um, yes, the thing you said that if we are allowed on the street interrupting people, what's gonna happen? Yes, there is this kind of trend. I've seen people shooting like that. Really, um, they are annoying people. This journalistic photography. yeah, I don't like, but I also believe in natural selection, you know. I think the goods will stay and the that was will just, you know, I don't mind we are getting more and more on the streets. People are just trying street photography, but only the good is resting, I think.
I am one of those that puts the camera up like this. And yeah, but in general, they didn't notice. So, yeah, but well, when of course there were some people that got mad at me, and they, yes, they punched me also. So this is the deal. I like to do that, and I pay the price sometimes.
The dangers of street photography. Yeah, I know it well because I got attacked by a cat in Cairo and I had to have a whole series of rabies vaccinations. Um, but I'm curious about that. You said in 2018, the person that was reviewing your photos said that street photography is dead. So I'd like to have a discussion. I'd like to discuss that with you. Um, do you think because of the boom in street photography, we see, we're just swamped with images and the same photos, we see the same types of photos over and over and over. It's this copy and paste kind of thing. Someone creates a meme and then everybody copies that because they want to try and recreate that photo for themselves, try and replicate that photo. So it brings up that question of, the future of street photography. Is it dying?
I wasn't prepared. No, it's not dying. It's just evolving and becoming something else. Yes, the classical street photography that we knew, it's dying, I think. And we are now. We still see that, but it's not. First of all, maybe also laws are changing. That's why I don't know. It's all about trends, you know. Because thanks to it's, I'm not saying because I like the dynamic. I like the change. I like the things are changing and evolving. So thanks to social media, but many people are against it. But yes, we have lots of genre of street photography being created, and yes, people are copying each other, copying or being inspired by each other, and then developing something else. So I think most no, I don't think you can develop your photography without getting inspired by others. You need to try. You need to try. Then you try something else. Then you try something else until you find your own way. You know. That's the way. You can't just read a book and become a perfect street photographer. You need to shoot, shoot, shoot. You need to try this, try that, and yeah, and yeah, and I still have a lot to learn. I know that, and I like it. If not, if I knew today that I'm already done, then I'll put my camera. I'll never shoot again. Then it will become very boring. But to develop myself, that's what I like.
It's kind of personal evolution, right? I don't think that I can't imagine how the street photography could evolve, but I'm sure that I'm evolving, and I'm part of the street photography. I'm sure you are evolving, and all of us, right? So where are we heading? I don't have any idea, but it's a democratic thing, the street photography, which is important overall in these times, right?
So so we all know what's happening in the community. We see what's in the stories, and I like this cartoon with the three Superman saying, "This is not street photography. This is not street photography. This is not street photography." So who are the Superman or woman? There should be a woman in that cartoon. So who is going to decide what is street photography and what is not? I mean, everybody can use whatever camera you have, if it's a mobile, it's a drone. Well, hallelujah. I'm not going to start on that topic. But I mean, it's open to everybody. And I think street photography, it's really tough to come with new ideas. We had so many reflections, we had so many layering, we had so many, everything has been done. So why don't you just do what you love? I mean, don't think too much. Do what you love. Go to the streets. Take what you want, and you can't be stuck with rules because then you are, doing less what you want to do. And don't take pictures to be accepted in contests. Just don't go in the streets. I'm going to do this because I think this picture will have more chance to be in a finalist. Just go there, go out, do your thing, and have fun.
I totally agree. Drone photography. Drone photography. Yeah. So drone photography is, it is part of, it is photography, right? It's,
Absolutely.
yeah. So why can't it be street photography if it's taking photos of people on the street, candid photos of people on the street? It's just a different angle.
It's a different angle, but it's detached from the world.
But it's
throughout
not-
the history, we always had a camera in the hand. So I understand the idea of accepting every new medium that we can have. I play a lot in my photography. I do black and white, color, getting closer, further away. But at the same time, it's also blurring the lines in a way that finally what it is street photography.
Yeah,
At the end of it.
and like maybe 5 years ago, that would have been the same case for mobile phone photography, but some competitions have different categories. So maybe there's a case for having a drone category, which is what they do at the head-on festival. They have a separate drone category.
You introduced a topic about the future of street photography, and I have a very pessimistic view of the future because of like especially photography contests are pushing a photography in a way that photography has to be flashy, has to be like a punch. I don't see the quiet moments, for instance, in the frame. We all see like
But this, yeah, I agree with you. But this has to be with the format that we are expressing, that we are showing our pictures, social media, Instagram. Is it a good format for photography? I don't think so. Not at all. No, not at all.
yeah, but here the photos are presented in a wall, and there are few moments in between. These quiet moments, nice colors that we're not like we are not just going for the visual fun because it's what's gonna win in a photography contest.
That's what I said. Do what you love, and don't look
Yeah,
at the
but
pictures of
there's also
contests and
about
try to do the
rules. Like
same
there's
thing.
that blurs the lines for me a little bit. Saying there are no rules, like everything is accepted. What's the limit? Where we draw the line? I
Why do we
agree
have to
photography,
draw the
photography, but then it's a thin line.
I mean, competitions. That's a whole different discussion. I mean, there are competitions where there are businesses, and you had that whole discussion in the Street Life podcast, which everybody here, if you can have a listen to, there was a recent Street Life podcast. Eduardo was talking, Sam Farris was talking, and Dave, I can't remember his last name, Dave, was talking about competitions, street photography competitions. So that's a whole other debate. But I think street photography festival competitions are a whole other thing. I mean, you have to have competitions to be able to fund the festivals. The judges that you choose, they're going to have very subjective opinions. That's the other thing. So I don't know if you want to continue this discussion.
Yes, I wanted to say something. Thank you very much because they are very interesting topics. I wanted to answer to the thing about copying. And because, yes, we see a lot of images that are similar to others. But what I believe is that when someone is beginning, it's the only way to learn. And I think once you persevere and you do that, then you learn what you like and what you don't like. And I think everyone is finding that like their own voices through copying in a way or being inspired by others. And I am absolutely supporting that because it's kind of the way that we all have been learning. In my beginnings, everyone told me that I was like my style like Soul Later. And I didn't even know who was Soul Later. So I was just searching. I said, oh, okay, I love it. And yes, I like this way. And then you find the way that the way you find your voice, I think is the best way to copy, but in a good manner, not in a negative.
Yeah, it's copying, absolutely, but also nurturing yourself, right? With
course.
not only photography, books of photography or theory of photography, but music, but films,
Absolutely.
but literature in general. All of that, helps you to create a word in
Yeah, but
your
this
own
is also
word.
a process. When someone tells you find your own voice at the beginning, it's like, what is that?
It's a
Then
process,
yeah,
definitely.
you don't even know what the own voice is. Where.
Yeah, and we are in our own process as street photographers, but the street photography as such, who knows where are we heading as such? You know what I mean? It is,
I want to add something on the copying thing. Yes, as I said earlier, it's not copying, but being inspired by. But there's something that I don't like is learning what works, the winning recipes, and then using these recipes not to develop your own photography, but just to gain more admiration. Or there's a difference in that copying or being inspired by someone, or seeing that, oh, if I put this here, this photo looks like this, then everybody will like it. Then it's no more personal, but just like a photo just getting out of a laboratory, with the winning ingredients, and it's a perfect photo, but which means nothing for me. What do you think about this?
I liked, we had Martin Parr in Brussels last year, and he was like, the thing where he stopped and said, I made more crap than this whole room together in my life. And I think every photographer has to experiment and just try out, and then you will find your voice and find what you prepare to work with. And then that's it goes, I think. No?
Yeah, I mean, it's all, as I said before, it's all about creating, and it's doing it, creating, um, creating for yourself. You're doing it for yourself, basically. And yes, I agree with you that it is part of the process, and with you, Vago, that it is part of the learning process. You have to know that you can do that. To evolve as a photographer. I mean, I still do it, and yes, I take a lot of crap as well. But the other question we probably should tackle is AI and the whole sort of that whole idea of truth, and especially now in the current political situation, that whole idea of what is true, what is real. What do you think about the future of street photography and photography itself with AI and that whole concept of truth and reality?
I went to an exhibition in Brussels, and there was only AI presented in the exhibition. And we also have a Magnum photographer, Carl de Keyser, who made a book with only AI pictures. So when it's very clear that AI, why not? It's a certain style, it's a certain way of being creative to put art out there. But when it's getting not visible, then it's a problem. I have a problem with Lightroom evolving and the little thing we had the clones, and I know it's AI cloning, and well, where's it going? What is it doing with our pictures?
Is street photography for you? Sorry. Is it street photography?
No. Then you should have it's like a collage or something. It's for me, it's art. There were really nice pictures with plants and things, and when it's getting people, it's still very difficult. Fingers, you know. So I think it's just another way of.
It will evolve to the point where you won't be able to tell whether it's real or not.
That's why you have raw files too.
Yes, but
to check.
they might even, I mean, it may come to the point where you can't even tell. Like you may be able to manipulate it enough to say that it is a raw file.
Right
How
now,
are we going to tell?
right now it's kind of forensic, for the WordPress, for example, it's like a forensic thing. You're able to know everything in the process. So maybe you are right, and in a couple of years, it's totally possible to define if it's made by a woman or by a
I believe
human being or not, right?
I think the analog photography is coming back. I'm sure. I mean, I see this the young people, they love analog photography, and there's no way to trick that.
Yes, analog photography is coming back. First of all, my ideas about AI. Actually, I like all the developments in technology. I'm not against it, and I really want to play with it myself. But yes, it's normal street photography if we play with it. But we are already, without knowing, using AI on Lightroom with all this face recognition technology on our. This is all AI, so we are already in it. But I know what you mean if we going to modify a photo so much from its original and add things that whatever, it's there's a problem. Or creating an image, a street photography from scratch, from nothing, just saying the elements. And yes, one day there will be hackers who will modify the information on the files that yes, we will, yeah, the X files. So we will not know anymore if it's AI or not, but yes, it will gonna have an impact on street photography, also in art. For example, my daughter, she doesn't want to do art because she says, "Mom, it's finished." This, yes, artificial intelligence now is it's no use. I'm going to draw something. So
That's sad because then, I mean, you need to be able to create, right, for your own enjoyment. And I think that comes back to us as street photographers. Yes, we may be deceived by AI images. It may come to the point where we don't know if it's a real image or not. But I think we as street photographers, it's up to us. It's going to depend on our own ethics. And personally, I just love going out there and taking photos of people in reality. That's what I love to do, and I will continue to do that. And I think everybody in this room is in the same situation.
The process is what it moves us. So in that case, artificial intelligence doesn't anything to do, right? I think there's someone that wanted to.
Thank you. Just one question. It's about the AI that we're talking about. Something that I've been working on, it's about is AIs and the way they work on imagery. So the AIs that we see today are the weakest that we will ever see. That's something that we have to consider. So it comes to the fact that for the future, for the street photography, we have these tools like AI, for example. And the question comes to who does the photography belong to in the future? Because we can say the prompt, And we can say, create me a picture that has all this and this, that I'm looking at. And I want to make it a contest worthy picture. One that can win everything on every single contest. So then who does this affect the future of street photography to the point that we won't be able to notice if it's real, it's not. Maybe I can use the AI to tell me how can I take a great picture. Do this and do the other.
what do you want to do? Do you want to go out in the streets and take pictures, or do you want to spend time behind the computer?
That's the thing. I want to take pictures, but we are becoming the old school. I love the pictures, and it's my art. But the things that are coming, it's the thing that may have to switch the way photography and art in general, not photography, everything regarding to art, comes to change things.
You say it's art. You say yourself it's art. So it's another discipline.
We are going to continue doing photography, and maybe, as she said, we go back to analog.
So, but it's a good question in terms of how it will impact street photography competitions and street photography festivals. So how are you going to, as a street photography festival organizers, how are you going to be able to tell if it's an AI image or a real image?
So that's why you ask the profiles. I mean, and I think in the future, yeah.
So fast. We don't know. We have to read Harari about that. He's the one that is saying, look at what will happen.
I think just, yeah.
Yeah, it is related. I always like to think about photography and make the similar with the written word. No? So when somebody writes something, how do you know that it's true? So same thing, it's gonna be with photography. So
But they are 100% doing by artificial intelligence.
yeah,
So,
but it's still, even before, even 200 years ago, if someone wrote something for a newspaper, how do you know that it's true? How can you trust this person? And it all comes for reputation and the ethics of that person. Why do you trust an article that it's written in the New York Times more than like an average Joe that writes in a blog that has conspiracy theories? It is because of the reputation. So I think that the way as street photographers that we can protect ourselves from all these AI generated images trying to pass as photography is to build a reputation, to be ethical, to not cheat. And I think it's also the importance of organization of community, because it's events like this and collectives and things like that, where you gain this reputation, this trust, where you can vouch from the other person. I know that he's ethical. I know that what he's presenting to say a contest or even on Instagram or on a gallery, that that wasn't modified, that he's not the kind of person that will erase 10 people that were in the background because we're getting in the way of the photo that he wanted, no? Or if he does that, he's gonna say it and then he won't try to pass it as the photography. I think that's the only solution that we have, because even with analog, what does it stop for me to creating a photo digitally and then just taking an analog photo of that and it passes? I mean, people were cheating with photography in the darkroom from the very beginning of photography, no? And it's a different kind of art. But if we want to compare it like with written word, what do you know that something it's a journalistic article and not a tale? And it's just by reputation. And I think that also comes a lot with literacy and education of us as consumers of images. No? And it's something that society has to learn to.
that's what you said. You were talking about reputation. You know, Steve McCurry, he photoshopped some people. So be honest to yourself. I mean, the truth is coming out. Anyway, the walls will say, just be honest. I mean, what purpose do you have to lie about it? I mean, we have enough fake news already.
And that's the strength of community as well. So we do have a community, a street photography community, a photography community. So we can uphold those ethics, and that's some way, perhaps that's some way of controlling. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it comes back to the question, why are we shooting? Why are we going out to the streets and shoot? So, because we love it and we like to show something from the reality. But then artificial intelligence image, the author of this image, he or she won't have the same reason. So the reason will differentiate maybe the problem, I don't know. And I'm not worrying about this really. When I started photography, there were these purist people first. They were saying, what you do is not real photography because I started with the smartphone. So first, this got evolved. Now, mobile photography is accepted as photography. And before that, analog people were saying to digital, no, what you are doing is not real photography. So I'm just, time will show. So why are we worrying now about this? Yes, there will be technical issues maybe, but I watched some conferences in R about this problem, and they are really working hard to label all the files that nobody can hide that it's artificial intelligence or not. But yes, they will get over it. I'm sure. But what to do? Time will show.
So perhaps we can conclude by talking a little bit more about community and the importance of community and the importance of festivals like these.
Well, so when people ask me, why are you doing this? Why are you organizing this? And I say, yes, it's because for you, it's for the community, it's to meet each other. And we wouldn't be sitting here. I met you in Brussels festival, Latife also, and first time I see you now. I'm so happy to meet you finally. So we need these festivals to bring people together. And yes, there are things we have to do to get some money in, and I don't want to go into that. So the workshops is giving opportunity to a lot of people to start photography, and it gives the opportunity for photographers to also have some work thanks to the festivals. And yes,
Yeah, but also photography, it's a solitary work. So to create communities, it's friendship, it's learning, it's to share, which is super important. I'm always learning from all of you. And I know that I also have some things to say, and this is so powerful for me, right?
I think the biggest compliment they can give is that we see the pictures on Instagram and it's like this big, and they come to the festival and then they see the picture that big, and they're really happy. I mean, oh, wow. I like prints very much. I like books very much. So it is important to print your pictures.
Yes, I agree. And just one last thing about the importance of social media and its the fact that it has had this power to bring us together and to especially for women, and I think that social media is the reason there are 4 women here up on the stage, and it's because of social media and the reason and the way we've created groups, women street photographers, women in street, unexposed, street as a woman, all of the groups have given us that power and that exposure.
No, and also it's not about the collective, but what is super, super interesting to me is that we have friends all over the world. This is incredible. With Julia, I don't know, first time we talked by Instagram, it was in, I don't know, something like that. And today, well, this Querétaro festival, it was the first time that we met in person. So this is fantastic. And it's like, this is so artificial intelligence, doesn't have anything to do with this. This is friendship, this is love, this is passion.
The love of photography, right?
Yeah, I love your slogan.
Thanks so much. And
Can
now
I
we have to
finish it with my point of view about the community and about the street photography boom? Actually, what happened with the street photography boom is, yes, people started to create enormous amounts of photography and creating communities, and sometimes it was negative, sometimes positive, but festivals are good, but competition inside the festivals are, for me, it's just a game. It's not about winning or passing the other one. We are a community. We are all together. We support each other. And street photography is about building communities, supporting each other. It's about empathy. Yes, social life. It's about this. So, thank you.
So thanks so much to the MXSPF team for all your hard work. It's taken so much, it's taken a lot of time for you, a lot of commitment from you.
And so well done.
It's so well done, and we're very appreciative.
Yes, thank you. Big applause for their organization.
Por amor a la fotografía.
México Street Photo Fest, el festival